Bernie Sanders absolutely dominated the elections over the weekend. So he won Alaska with 82% of the vote. Whew. That's a crushing victory if I've ever seen one. He won Hawaii with 70% of the vote. And he won Washington State with 73% of the vote. Now, when you looked at the most recent poll from Washington State, Bernie Sanders was down 3 percentage points. He ended up winning with 73% of the vote. That's a good sign moving forward, if I don't say so myself. So this is huge news because it means that he chips away at her delegate lead, and now he's won 6 of the last 7 contests. And not only that, but for the last set of elections, when we had Utah and Idaho and Arizona, so he lost Arizona, that's the one that he lost, but he ended up winning Idaho and Utah by so much that he picked up about 58% of the delegates, which is exactly what he needed. So obviously, after, I guess it was Super Tuesday 2 or Super Tuesday 3, I lose track of this stuff, when Hillary swept the board, I was telling you guys, his back's against the wall, he's got to come back, he's got to fight hard, and he has to win 58% of the delegates moving forward. What does he do the very next set of elections? Wins 58%. What does he do the one after that? Wins more than that. So this race isn't over. I went from, if you guys recall, I know I've been giving these percentages all along, and it kind of gets mixed up in all of our heads, including my own here, but I had ticked down his chances from 30% to 25% to get the nomination. Now I'm taking it back up to 30%. Now, I know a lot of you might think, well, why not go more than that? Because there's still a lot of states moving forward, and he still has to dominate in those states, and he doesn't have much wiggle room for fucking up, okay? But it's still a solid 30%, and when I say 30, I don't mean like, hey, I'm saying 30, but it's really a 10% chance he has of winning. It's a 30% chance, because there's a lot of fucking delegates in California. There's a lot of fucking delegates in New York. There's a lot of delegates in the states upcoming. And again, the map favors him moving forward. When we were saying that, for a while now, we weren't just saying it to make ourselves feel better. We say it because it's true. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'll come out here if/when his chances are just not there anymore. I'll be the first one to say it. Why? Because I believe in facts. I'm able to separate what I want to happen from what I think is going to happen. I'm not like the Republicans who can't, make that distinction. Now, the problem is there's so many roadblocks in his way. We know this. The media, for one thing. The extent to which they're biased is almost indescribable. I mean, I was watching the other day on CNN when Bernie Sanders had won these 3 contests and won them in a crushing way. At the bottom of the screen on CNN, they just had it said delegate count, and then it showed Hillary's numbers, including superdelegates. You're not supposed to include superdelegates. Superdelegates, for those of you who don't know, they're undemocratic, and right now, most of them are saying we're going to go for Hillary no matter what, but the overwhelming majority of the time, what they'll do is whoever gets the popular vote, they switch to that person at the end. And yes, I do think that would happen now, even if Bernie Sanders won. But they're counting superdelegates that have already said, I'm with Hillary, in the delegate count, without even saying that superdelegates are in the count. So it shows like Bernie Sanders, 980 delegates, Hillary Clinton, 1,700. But that's not true. Her real delegate number was about 1,200, and Bernie's was about, 980 or thereabouts. Well, that looks a hell of a lot better and gives them a much better shot than when you add superdelegates and don't even say that you're adding superdelegates in there. You got to understand, guys, if you don't, number one, they shouldn't be in the count in any way right now. But if you're going to put them in, you have to at least say the superdelegates are in there. They didn't do that. So they're being purposely misleading. That's what that is. And, wall to wall, you have people there, he is still not sure he really has a shot. He's a message candidate. This is just a blip in the radar. Still Hillary's race. Blah, 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 blah. Everything is just downplay, disregard, dismiss. If they gave Bernie Sanders as much coverage as Donald Trump gets, Bernie Sanders would already have this nomination locked up. Because if you cover Bernie Sanders that much, you're forced to cover the substance of which he speaks, which is just endless. So he has a shot, but he has all these roadblocks in his way. And what's happening is, at least at this point, you see the people rising up to overcome those roadblocks. For example, the internet is a Bernie Sanders haven. The internet is almost universally for Bernie Sanders. So you have the message getting out there. You have his speeches. Have you seen his speeches? How many people show up? It is unbelievable. The guy is a rock star. He's like Mick Jagger going places. So you have words getting around, man, and people are saying, oh, look, this guy's doing it new. This is a new kind of thing, huh? Like, he's going out there, he seems principled, he's talking about the actual substantive issues, he's being very direct. He does not speak like a classic politician where, it's Hillary with flowery rhetoric. I want to knock down the barriers that hold people back. Yoo-hoo! What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. You're just saying words. But that's the thing, her campaign is like that. Half the time say you're a moderate, half the time say you're a progressive. Okay, I don't get that. There's a contradiction there. And then the rest of the time, flowery rhetoric, yeah. Donald Trump is mean to people, yeah. What does that mean? Tell me what you want to do. Give me policy. Well, he's giving policy, and there's a surge happening now. And the more I see what's happening, the more I think Alan Grayson was right. Remember that, his editorial that we covered here? Alan Grayson said, you guys don't get it. There's two separate Democratic primaries. There's the one that happened first, which included the South, which overwhelmingly went to Hillary because she overwhelmingly has the vote in the African-American communities. And then after that, the second half, it's, keep it real, states that don't have as big of African-American populations. And in those states, Bernie Sanders is winning on average by 20 points. So if the rest of the states, the demographic makeup is like that, and Hillary already had her day in the sun and she ran out of southern states, what's going to happen? Now, again, like I said, it's certainly possible that the media narrative and all the crushing forces against Bernie overwhelm and override, but it's also possible that the opposite happens. It's also possible that the demographic makeup holds true, the fact that the map favors him holds true, and the people overcome that. But the bottom line is, guys, it's on you. It's on you. So, there was a second there after Arizona where I think all of us thought, oh my God, this might be over. It might be over. But then it was just a little bit, and then he crushed in Idaho. He crushed in Utah. Now he crushed in Alaska. He crushed in Hawaii. He crushed in Washington State. He crushed with Democrats abroad. And moving forward, can it continue? Sure it can. But it's on you to get the word out. It's on you to fight for it. It's on you to spread the message. And it's on you to let people know, at least in terms of this primary, there's not a choice. It's hilarious when people think there's a choice here. Like, oh, vote for the corporate robot? Vote for the person who's a corporatist, center-right, pro-establishment Democrat? Or vote for the one who's principled and is a social democrat and is basically saying, I'm FDR 2.0. Who's more in line with the philosophy of your run-of-the-mill Democrat? Let me think about that one.